Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to Fontana here at the Auto Club Speedway, where tonight we're getting set to kick off yet another series of the Off-Throttle Sim Series Xfinity Series for their season opener. Welcome to Green Flag TV. My name is Ola Rempo with Dylan Coyle beside me in the broadcast booth. Together, we're going to be bringing you all the coverage here tonight from tonight's 75-lap race around this 2-mile concrete oval. Dylan, we get set to kick off a new series in what was an absolutely dramatic finale over at Phoenix just 2 weeks ago. We get set to do it all over again as we get set to go racing for, again, these 75 laps around this 2-mile speedway here tonight.
Goodness, I am so happy that we are at Auto Club Speedway because, like iRacing has done so many times in the past, they continue to keep tracks that are no longer with us, still available to race at. And of course, Auto Club is the most recent addition to that description. I love this track. It's going to be a lot of fun seeing these 13 guys, 14 almost, race all together here.
It's going to be an exciting race for sure, as we've got ourselves a good 12-race schedule coming up for us here before the end of the season, with, of course, one off week right in the middle. I believe that would be for the likes of Independence Day. We'll run through the schedule here real quick for you. We got first at the Chicagoland Speedway. And, of course, we roll down to the Chicagoland Speedway for race number 2. We slow down for the short tracks for the Richmond Raceway for race number 3. Atlanta Motor Speedway picks it up in 4th on the calendar. Pocono and Martinsville round to the top half of the season. From there, on May 25th, we have a 1-week vacation just to take a little bit of a break, slow things down. We return in June over for our sole road course race of the season at Road America. North Wilkesboro, the Nashville Super Speedway, Talladega, Rockingham, and Homestead, Miami finish out the rest of our season, which will be concluding over in July. So a very action-packed series then ahead of us here in this one, Dylan, and it's all going to get set to kick off what has arguably been a fan-favorite track for such a long time over here on the NASCAR calendar.
Yeah, you are not kidding. This is going to be a lot of fun. This track is very bumpy in this sim. It's got a lot of character to it. These cars are going to be hitting speeds almost up to 200 miles per hour, if not eclipsing that mark. This Xfinity Series car, you know, it's interesting seeing Cup cars and Xfinity Series cars against each other here when it comes to speed differences. The Xfinity Series car handles a lot differently than the Cup Series car. You remember last year in 2022 when every driver was having issues on the first race with the next-gen car here? Well, in this Xfinity Series, it's going to be that wiggle nature all night long. And yes, I just said wiggle nature.
A few new drivers entering the ranks here tonight. Among those, the likes of EJ Luna in the number 48 car, making his first OTSS Xfinity Series start here this one. He's just put himself 7th quick on the qualifying board. So Luna going to be looking to see what he can do, see if he can put himself a bit further up on the timing boards. Of course, Justin LeBlanc, the big driver entering tonight as defending champion, starts this race from 5th, so it looks like LeBlanc could have his work cut out for him if he wants to go after and get his title defense started on a high.
He might have his work definitely cut out for him, of course, as we see a wreck coming off of turn 2, and yeah, just gonna back it into the wall. You know, there's nothing to worry about when it comes to fines for rough driving here, or just putting the car into the wall. You don't have to fix it or anything. But times right now, only one has eclipsed into the 39-second region. Actually, that's Stephen Hayes. Michael Hayes right behind him with a 40 flat. So just one more driver to go here who has not set a time. I don't know what this time will be. I don't see Joey Beck out anymore. So we're ready to go.
All 13 drivers have put, well, I should say all 12 out of 13 drivers have put down their qualifying times, as we'll get set to roll things off for the OTSS Xfinity Series season for their season opener here tonight. Starting on pole position for this first race over at Atlanta Motor Speedway, it is Stephen Hayes for Lone Star Racing. His teammate Mike Hayes starts beside him on the front row. Jonathan Easton and Johnny Honeycutt will bring it up on row number 2. Justin LeBlanc will be in 5th place, your defending champion, down on row number 3. DJ Honeycutt brings it up in the 6th spot with that one. EJ Luna back at 7th. Isaac Brock will be at 8th. Tyler Honeycutt in 9th. Chad Rowe brings up the top 10. For there you got Mark Sherwood, Dwayne Honeycutt in 11th and 12th on row number 6. And it is going to be Joey Beck to take up the rear of the grid as we get set to go racing for 75 laps here tonight. Going to be a long race and a difficult race with these drivers out here. This one, and I have to say, I think for all these drivers, it's going to be a test of endurance, right? I mean, this is something we've talked about before. What do you think you should do if you want to try to get yourself set up here for the end of these races?
I mean, it's interesting, right? We are used to now having a shorter race distance for these, and I think that's actually a good thing. It allows these drivers to really test themselves against the time, right? 75 laps, it's not that much. They're gonna have to pit in the middle of it, but it could be just a one-stop strategy kind of race. We could see tire degradation become a relative thing that these drivers have to worry about. That's gonna lead to a lot of potential differences in strategy. And kind of off topic, can we talk paint schemes? It's a new season. We might have some new paint schemes, and I found my favorite. You ready for this?
Do tell.
Power to the players, baby. Number 3.
That'd be the number 3 car of Tyler Honeycutt for the GameStop machine, coming on off of turn number 2. And I can tell you right now, that GameStop car, it's down to the tail of the field for now, but keep an eye on it. We've seen before, Tyler Honeycutt is no stranger to fighting his way up through the field.
I mean, is any Honeycutt really a stranger to finding
Fair
their way
enough.
throughout the field? I mean, there's 3 of them, actually 4 of them, I should say, in this race. Man, this is going to be fun. They're already getting into turn 3. That number 8 car looks sharp as well. Goodness me, Stephen Hayes going to lead the field to green. The top 5 separated by under 0.2 of a second.
We're happy that you're joining us here on an amazing Thursday night here for more OTSS Xfinity Series action. The pace car going to pull down to pit road. That will leave it in the hands of Stephen Hayes. 13 cars going to set to kick off the second season of the OTSS Xfinity Series season. Green flags up in the air. We're racing in California.
Oh, man, Jonathan Eason.
Sliding it out on the back straightaway, gets that car back underneath him. He's going to fall back to 13th, though. Meanwhile, up in front, Stephen Hayes, his teammate, running away at the front of the field. He's got about a 2-car length gap now over Mike Hayes back in second.
This first lap is complete in just a few moments with Steven, followed by Michael. Michael Hayes is getting a good run down this front straightaway, though, and tucks back in line, heading into turn 1 at just around 185 miles per hour.
The top 2 continue to break away. Donnie Honeycutt falling back to about 0.7 of a second and down. That's because he's side by side with DJ Honeycutt as we rocket down the back straightaway. DJ and Donnie going to duel it out as right behind them, LeBlanc and Brock are side by side. Now Luna going to put it 3 wide as we rocket down the back straightaway into turn number 3. So it's 3 wide for that 5th position, and Luna will back out from the bottom. Again, the top 2 breaking away, one to the outside wall. That was Brock having some trouble on the top shelf.
Talk about perfect camera placement for that one. You got the sparks right in camera, Nolan Rempel.
We can thank TrackCams 22 for that one, as they're the providers of the cameras being used in all Green Flag TV broadcasts here, including the ones tonight, as Mike Hayes setting the fastest lap early on in his number 8 Lone Star, or number 99 Lone Star Racing Machine. Of course, Traff might have a hand to play. He's going for the lead.
Yeah, that was just perfect execution down the backstretch. Not going to be able to clear him, though, so Steven is going to be pulling just narrowly in front. Going to lead another lap here at the end of lap 3. We're 6 miles into this race, and there is the example just showing you how important the draft is, and then when you get side drafted, how much you kind of lose time there. He's right now in dirty air, came down a little bit later than Stephen Hayes to get some clean air going through that splitter in front. We joined some of the battling going on. Isaac Brock and the rest of the crew. Well, this is just a good battle. Oh, look, into the wall is Joey Beck. He has to get out of the throttle a little bit in that Hendrick Cars number 24. That's a weird combination, isn't it?
But whatever the case, he's going to get that thing rolling, and he's got a run now on Brock down the front straightaway, trying to see if he can use the draft for the 85 of LeBlanc just in front of him to get up and around that 7 cars. He'll dive down into turn numbers 1 and 2. So far, it's been clean sailing in the opening 4 laps as we take it on now to lap number 5. Single file now for one of the first times all night long. Down the back straightaway as the guys on the inside file up a tuck-in line, but it's a bit too late as it's already over a second between DJ Honeycutt and Mike Hayes.
Look at LeBlanc, what he just had to deal with as we go on the hood with Joey Beck. So LeBlanc went down low to the first groove. You saw everybody else go a little bit higher, leave around 2 car lengths of space in between the apron. And, I mean, you can literally see the grooves from the cracks, the splits in the track. The more down low you run, the worse your tires are going to get later in the run. That might affect a driver like LeBlanc, and obviously he lost a lot of time right there. Right in front of him is Isaac Brock, EJ Luna, and Donnie Honeycutt almost going 3 wide coming into corner number 3.
Luna still working that inside line. We can see Donnie Honeycutt and Isaac Brock. They've managed to find something on the outside line, and they're trying to work together now to see if they can't pull clear from Luna. And they're able to get the runs down the straights, but Luna still able to use that inside lane to be able to make something happen on the entry to these corners. And again, now it's Stephen Hayes again trying to have to fend off Mike Hayes with the lead. This time, though, it's Stephen on the bottom. Mike up top, slides up and almost into the wall.
Almost into the wall right there, but it was a bit of a slider, right? As we follow back with the lead 2 cars, Michael Hayes, Stephen Hayes. They're fighting with each other, but they're not really fighting too hard. The 3rd place driver, DJ Honeycutt, has pulled a second in front of Donnie Honeycutt, but he's still second back of Michael Hayes. So he's kind of lonely out there. Side by side quarter panel. Michael Hayes has the run going into turn 1. He's going to try and slide down in front. Stephen Hayes is going to try a switchback as they exit turn 2. And yes, I'm trying to predict the future here.
Look at that run from the Larson line up to the top shelf, and it's going to be an attempted crossover for Stephen Hayes down the back straightaway. Mike Hayes was able to get the lead, but Stephen Hayes fighting right back to the inside, entering turn number 3, and now it's Mike Hayes to go up to the top shelf. I think that's one really important thing to know with these cars at this track, right? You've got the outside lane by the wall, and you got the inside lane down to the bottom. Anywhere else, you're not going to be gaining any kind of time.
Yep, unless the guy is on the also not at an extreme, right? Like that's kind of what we're looking at here. This is some great racing happening in front. It's allowing DJ Honeycutt to get just fractionally into this battle. Still 1 second fully behind, so maybe not as much as I thought would happen. But Michael Hayes has officially cleared Stephen Hayes. It looks like Michael is going to lead his first lap of the race on lap number 9. No one in lap 10.
Mike Hayes becomes our official first lead change on the night. We'll jump back to this battle still raging on in the midfield between Donnie Honeycutt and Justin LeBlanc. They're running side by side down in the turn numbers 1 and 2. 85 LeBlanc carrying that run for the bottom lane, but look at Donnie Honeycutt trying to establish a run up on the top side, just as we saw these other guys doing. Look out, as that was Luna you saw stepping it out on the bottom.
Yeah, but look at this run from Donnie Honeycutt. This is immense down the backstretch. Could he think about 3 wide? Oh, you saw him just taking a moment to think about it, but decided against it with his better judgment there. And he's going to just slot still in behind Isaac Brock. Maybe not for long, though, as the front stretch. Not enough room on the outside, my man. Try and go pushing him, maybe in the middle. Look at this. Antsy wanting to get going here.
The 85 LeBlanc still trying to work the bottom lane, try to see if he can't pull clear from the 7. He's going to drift right up and maybe try to see if he can't get some help from Tyler Honeycutt in the background, but you see the bump draft for Donnie Honeycutt. The 85's got nothing on it as the 7 going to pull clear. Oh, yeah. How about this? Look at Donnie Honeycutt looking for 3 on the top.
Yeah, Donnie kind of pushed Isaac Brock a bit, who gets really in tight and ends up making some contact with Justin LeBlanc. My goodness, they're 3 wide going into turn 1. LeBlanc is going to have his tires shredded, but he might be able to clear by the 22 car of Donnie Honeycutt. He's not clear, though. He's going to try it, but that was dangerous. A little bit of hesitation led to him now losing some more ground. Donnie Honeycutt is flying.
And Isaac Brock has just been waiting in the wing, or he's been starting to drop back. You saw that was Tyler Honeycutt waiting in the wings of the number 3 car. He's just made the move for 6th spot, and now the 7 stepping the back end out as he once again rocket down the front straightaway. One of the reasons why I absolutely adore Auto Club Speedway. The race fit is just phenomenal every single time we come here, and these guys are putting on a show tonight in their season opener. EJ Luna back to the inside. He's going to try to get around Tyler Honeycutt. It's not going to happen. Brock's going to get the run from the outside line.
I mean, you're literally trying to get the maximum slip angle possible on these tires, and it's just destroying the rubber. Luna decides to go the high end, but it's allowing drivers like Jonathan Eason to come back into play. Remember, Eason started 3rd, I mean, he was 27 thousandths away, 27 thousandths from being in 2nd on the grid. He's got the speed. He just made a mistake literally on cold tires in the 1st turn. By the way, these drivers, you want to know what speeds they're hitting now going into turn 1? It's a 197.
If I can get the exact number with Stephen Hayes here, this is in kilometers an hour, but it'll give you a good angle nonetheless. It's over 300 for those that use the metric system, such as myself, as saw right there, again, shooting down in towards turn numbers 1 and 2. We switch that over to miles an hour, only slowing down about 167 in 3 and 4, where we hightail it up and down that front straightaway. And Stephen Hayes still trying to reel that gap into this fight for the race lead, exceeding almost 200 miles an hour, up to 194 down the front straightaway. It is so hectic up here for these guys, and that's why these racing be so exciting. You don't often get close quarters racing like this at these kinds of speeds unless you're on a super speedway.
You know, I was watching The Mandalorian, and they use the word Imperial a lot to talk about the Empire, and that's not probably the best look to name your system the Imperial system versus the metric system.
Yeah, probably not.
You like that? You like that?
I did. I like me some good pop culture references, for sure.
You got to use them sometime. Look at this. Donnie Honeycutt currently losing the battle to Tyler Honeycutt. And they're right behind DJ Honeycutt. Dwayne, where are you, man? Some great onboard and spatial audio to bring you some of the action here at Auto Club Speedway here. A lot of fun watching these drivers just fight it out, figure out what they can do, what lines they can take. Look at that! Right up to the wall, that air bubble. Yeah, that air bubble was just absolutely gorgeous. You might get into the wall. Yep.
Donnie Honeycutt getting too up and close and personal with that outside wall. That's what allowed EJ Luna to get a run for the inside. And now, like you mentioned, Jonathan Eason starting to slowly climb his way back to the field. He's already down 4, but got to start somewhere when you climb back up to the top. And he's starting by taking over the spot again from Donnie Honeycutt.
What air bubble, you know?
Yeah, no kidding. It's almost non-existent when you get when you get to a race like this where it can just be so intense, especially the early goings.
Yeah, but it's also allowing us to really enjoy some of the close battling, and it's hard to have, by the way, side by side for the lead as you pick it up right there. It's really hard to have a series with 13 drivers be as close in skill as these drivers are, especially at a 2-mile track. So we're being served up a treat here.
Drag race down the pit straight and down towards turn number 1. Mike Hayes down on the outside line. Stephen Hayes up on the bottom. And Stephen going to try to pull around His teammate, Mike Hayes, can he pull clear off a 2? No! Still side by side as we hit it down the back straightaway. And all this slowly allowing for DJ Honeycutt to reel in the gap. We talked about it before. They were able to pull up a good 1.2, 1.5 seconds. That gap down to 0.9 of a second between the two of them. Every lap they're side by side like this, they're losing time back to the 15.
Yeah, but you also have to think about it. Even if they're losing time to the 15, that's only inviting one driver, one rival to get involved in the fight. I think they'd much rather have that than what's currently going on behind third place DJ Honeycutt, where it's just a gaggle of cars fighting for positions just outside the podium, inside the top 5.
It's always a question of, do you want to be where all the excitement is or be able to duke it out with your own teammate just in front for the lead? I think most people would take the teammate option, especially when you're somebody like Stephen Hayes trying to see if you can't make an assault here at the championship title. And
look how much closer.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it's been a great fight between the two of them. They've been side by side now for what, 3, 4, 5 laps almost, and they're showing no signs of breaking away from each other anytime soon.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, this has been great. They've had periods of being right next to each other for, well, let's be honest. Earlier laps, they were doing the exact same thing. Stephen Hayes from Denton, Texas slides up a little bit. I thought he was sliding a bit more than he wanted to. But, yeah, DJ Honeycutt, 0.8 away.
Down to 0.8 of a second for DJ Honeycutt. You see right behind as Mike Hayes. Stephen Hayes trying to see if he can set up a run here on Mike Hayes as he'll come down off of turn number 4, and the run he's got going to be alongside. And how close can you get in a run for a race lead there?
Almost too close.
I know, no kidding. Almost too close for comfort as Stephen Hayes rockets away down to turn 1 once again.
You almost think, I mean, look at that. That's like Kyle Busch and the Denny Hamlin-Joey Logano fight close. That Auto Club from a decade ago, where you can just see him creeping in. He's creeping in. He's close. It's getting a little dangerous for these top two. You almost wonder why aren't they working together? Because there's really, I don't know.
There's no fun in that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. What am I, just the no fun guy?
Well, I mean, you also go down to, it's what, 2.5 seconds after DJ Honeycutt to the next closest driver. So it's not like they've got much to worry about. And the guys behind them are closing in because they're too busy fighting each other.
Which we love, by the way.
Oh, of course.
We love that. You know, fun real life Fontana story when we were there earlier this year, Nolan. You know, it was the worst blizzard that the LA region had in 40 years when we went there. You heard me.
I did not.
Blizzard in LA.
I didn't think that was possible.
It was snowing massively.
Let alone Los Angeles, which is, when I went there in the winter, we're still talking, we had like 70, 80 degree days.
You there for some good fun?
Disneyland. Gotta love it.
Hey, okay. The House of Mouse.
The House of Mouse and the California Adventure Park right across the lot.
Is that not also the House of Mouse? I thought so. I mean, if this were a race at, say, the Indy Road Course, I would break out my Mickey Mouse impersonation, but I won't hurt anybody with that voice.
Well, the battles have been starting to die off a little bit throughout this field, but it's not to say they're going anywhere. You still got Mike Hayes trying to see if he can't get the run on Stephen Hayes since Stephen took that race lead back. We then got this fight between LeBlanc, Tyler Honeycutt, and Luna. Meanwhile, Joey Beck going to be the first driver to hit pit road, his number 24 car. So the HedgeCars.com machine coming down to pit road early. I think that's, again, a good thing to note. There are fuel restrictions, and we've seen these come into play before.
You're absolutely right about that.
It's not something we
Obviously,
talk about too often in leagues like these.
yeah, no, it's not. But with the fuel restriction, we're looking at probably two stops total.
It's looking to be that way. We'll obviously see when everybody else is going to come down. So I think one car coming down could just be an awkward strategy call, right? Because oftentimes you get fuel restrictions. You get the kind of situation where you've got one or two good races, or you got one or two full stints, and then one really short one right at the end, right? That's how
True.
a lot of 50% races go down.
But they can't go 50 laps on a single tank of fuel.
Oh, of course not. But I think once you start to see everybody else on the lead lap start to come down, I think that'll then be a good indicator of where we're going to be at strategy-wise. Wow, Luna way to the inside. We're 3 wide, and that's 2 for 2 for
that's
EJ
a
Luna
slider.
going for 4th.
That's a slider, and I don't think it's going to pay off, though, down into turn 1. At least maybe one position he's going to gain, but they're both going to get the benefit of the draft. Actually, it's going a little better than I thought, but they're still going to be side-by-side, maybe 3 wide going into 1.
Jonathan Easton and Chad Rowe, the next 2 drivers to come down to pit road. We'll keep eyes on this battle here for 4th, 5th, and 6th on the racetrack, just around the edge of the top 5. Easton still working the bottom. You've got, that's LeBlanc working the bottom. Honeycutt right at the tail end on the top. I think that might have been one Mark Sherwood that just clipped the wall in the background off of turn 2 as well. And then, of course, EJ Luna in his debut race of the OTSS Xfinity Series season, taking the position off of turn 4. So it looks like that was a slider that didn't pay off. And I think the reason why it paid off, because 5th and 6th got side-by-sides. They couldn't get a run on him.
Great point there, Nolan. When you run side-by-side, it's just going to slow both of you guys down. And EJ Luna definitely took advantage of that. And look at that, up to 4th in his first race.
EJ Luna showing some very good pace here in his series debut as LeBlanc and Honeycutt continue to go side by side. That's allowed for EJ Luna to try to pull a little bit further up in front. But now we've got 2 other drivers that have come down to pit road. We're waiting on the top 10 at this point. Now, if you're one of these guys that kind of stuck in a battle like this, at what point do you opt to go for a potential undercut, right?
Yeah, that's fair. I think, honestly, I don't even know if the undercut or not will pay off massively. Maybe. I just think that usually if you're going for an undercut, you also want to try and fit it in with some of the traffic that you'll be around. So there's not really going to be any traffic. And because these straightaways are so long, you're going to lose the benefit of the draft, but you're going to pick up time in the corners. So it might just kind of equal out.
You got a good point there, especially, but you have to also consider the traffic's got to be somebody you want to work with as well, right? We look at Joy Beck and Jonathan Easton here. They're both on similar pit strategies here. Whoa! As the 24 of Becks cross it up off of turn number 4. But they were side-by-side down the back straightaways. These were 2 lap cars that had just pitted that weren't willing to work together. It's not one of those tracks like Daytona where you necessarily have to, right? Because the track is a lot, but it's not everything here. It's also a momentum-based racetrack as well, because you do still lift off that throttle a fair bit.
That's true. You do lift off the throttle, especially in the Xfinity car, because you got to get that thing rolled around and moving into the corners well. And because this track has such flat corners, the drivers that have been going down the inside are hurting right now. That's what I'm definitely thinking. I mean, going down low is going to burn more rubber because you're pretty much turning the wheel at a little bit of a sharper radius sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes if you get out of the throttle enough, yes, you're going to be pretty much at that same angle, but you're just going to lose time because the drivers are going to be moving faster around the outside. So you really got to take advantage of that slide job when you go down really low here just because of how wide it is.
You know, the more I start to look into what these guys are doing here, I'm actually starting to think they might be able to make it to halfway. We're at 32 out of 75. It was a 75-lap race. Lap 35 would be halfway, so if they can make it to about lap 70 or 37, 38, they'll be good to go to the end of this race. There isn't a caution, as we've got a hornet's nest of cars, meanwhile, in the background, including 2 lap cars on fresh tires trying to work their way through lead lap traffic.
This is where you're going to see that speed difference come into play in the corners. Look at the 24 of Joey Beck and the 4 of Jonathan Easton just flying by EJ Luna right here. But the great equalizer is that straightaway. They're not flying by anymore.
And that is full stack was allowed for LeBlanc to catch Tyler Honeycutt as well. So now you got the battle for fifth starting to pick up as well. And that's, like we talked about before, it's allowing EJ Luna to pull a bit further up in front. I'm going to see if I can't get something that will really kind of put emphasis on just how big the speed difference is. Take a look at this one. Watch Jonathan Easton here. EJ Luna, the 48 car, you can see the four's getting held up by him right to the inside. That's all fresh tires. That is how big the speed difference is in the corners alone at a track like this.
Yeah, you're just able to have some more contact with the asphalt, and that contact is going to be rubber that is more grippy and fresh. It's not worn down. It's not marbled up. It's a lot easier to kind of deal with. And Michael Hayes going in the pit lane. He's going to try the undercut on Steven. He was 6/10 down.
Mike Hayes becomes the first driver within the top 10 to bail to pit road. He will see if he can, like I mentioned before, get that undercut on Steven Hayes. You can make up a fair big chunk of time on fresh rubber in just a lap or two here. So I think this could be enough to get him out in front of Steven Hayes, unless Hayes really has one big entry to his pit stall. We'll see what Mike Hayes can do, if he'll overshoot. A bit of a lock up, but he's going to get it stopped in time. So no entry dramas then for Mike Hayes. Steven Hayes, though, opted to stay out. That's an interesting call. He's trying something else here, and DJ Honeycutt, meanwhile,
that's smart from DJ.
Well.
That's really smart from DJ. Why not try it, right? You don't want to be the one caught out here. If anybody's going to be caught out, Steven Hayes is. If Hayes doesn't come down this time by, then the undercut might work.
And now, here's the big thing, though, right? We
Later in the race.
We talked about fuel, the fuel restrictions, right? And how they had, if they could get to halfway, they'd be good to go, right? Mike Hayes pitted a fair few laps prior to halfway. He stopped on lap number 34.
You're not wrong. I still think you can go around 40 laps on this track before fuel becomes an issue.
I guess we'll see if there'll be any of that clutch and coasting throughout the remainder of this run here, as here comes LeBlanc and Tyler Honeycutt now.
Steven's still staying out.
I think Steven Hayes wants to make sure he's good to go. He's going directly to halfway, or he's going to run that tank drop.
Yeah, but look at this. Look at this. Joey Beck and Jonathan Eason. Look at this. This is the speed difference now between 37 lap old tires. Steven's going in this lap. He just radioed it over to these speed demons right behind. So, I mean, that was 3 or 4 extra laps on old tires. He's absolutely going to get swallowed up, I think, here by who was in second?
That would have been Mike Hayes.
The other Hayes, right?
And here comes everybody else. Honeycutt, Sherwood, also in the pit road. EJ Luna stays out to lead a lap. And Dwayne Honeycutt comes down as well.
Do my eyes deceive me?
Do tell.
Yeah, Michael Hayes is, the undercut worked so well that Joey Beck and Jonathan Eason are right now fighting for the lead, potentially.
Oh, you're not even kidding either, as Mike Hayes trying to close up on them. The 4 and the 24. Going to be in lockstep here. EJ Luna takes it to pit road. Jonathan Eason.
Look at how far Steven is.
To be in the lead.
What a bad decision.
Here's the big kicker, though. While, yes, they got the jump on Steven Hayes early, Steven Hayes is going to be on fresher tires than them the entire rest of this race, and that might mean the thing or two here at about 20 laps.
I know, but I think in about 20 laps, 25 laps, all the tire performance is going to kind of be equalized. Oh, man. I don't know about that decision. I really don't.
Well, Mike Hayes already making the move for the race lead on Jonathan Eason, and he is through. So that right there, the difference on about 4 or 5 tire pit stops, or difference on the pit stops, saw Mike Hayes power through, and he's taken up the race lead. And Jonathan Eason's got nothing on the 99 car through 1 and 2.
I don't see Steven Hayes being able to make up 5 seconds if this race goes green the rest of the way.
EJ Luna, fresh out of pit road. He falls all the way back to 9th. He was the last driver that had to stop, and we believe now pit stops are going to be finished except
for Joey
maybe
Beck.
Jonathan Eason, who stopped on lap 27.
I thought it was Beck who also stopped.
Chad Rowe actually stopped on 27.
Well, also Joey Beck stopped on lap 25.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, 25. It wasn't on 27. It was 25. Technicalities, I'm still right.
Fair. Hey, it was 25 and 26. You were still wrong.
Nobody
I'm
stopped
just
on lap
saying.
26. It was 27.
All right, let's fight it out.
Oh boy, meet me in the parking lot out of Fontana after this one.
Hey, it's a pretty spacious parking lot. I'll tell you that.
I haven't been there. I wouldn't know.
And you will never be there.
No, it's too expensive. I can't afford the plane ticket down there.
And you know it's getting bulldozed. So
oh, that too. Slight problem.
Yeah,
with that plan.
slight difficulty.
There goes the closest NASCAR track to me. Now we got to fly out to Arizona, and yeah, I don't do well in the heat, so I'm not doing
Portland.
that.
Come visit me in Portland.
Oh, I guess they run the Xfinity series still there, don't they?
Exactly. Come visit me when I'm in Portland.
I actually could. It's only a few hours drive down from where I'm at, so that's actually not all that unreasonable.
That'd be cool. Speaking about cool, Michael Hayes. Cool as a cucumber. Cool as a cucumber. He's a cucumber.
I'm going to ignore that you just tried to make a pun out of that statement.
He's over a second in front of Jonathan Eason. Stephen Hayes is now 4.1 seconds, so he is catching up. I just think it's going to start to equalize, and I don't know.
Well, while all this is going on, you are past halfway in the OTSS Xfinity Series. You're watching the season opener from Auto Club Speedway live on Green Flag TV. We'll be back with more in just a few moments from Fontana.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Auto Club Speedway. We are still under our only and longest green flag run of the night. It has been a fantastic race so far. It is continuing to develop as this fight for P6 up on screen between Justin LeBlanc and Tyler Honeycutt is starting to get dicey as Honeycutt almost puts LeBlanc into the outside wall.
Yeah, that was that was pretty wild right there. Goodness, this is going to be an interesting end to the race. Stephen Hayes just over 3 seconds now behind Mike Hayes. Yes, he's got DJ Honeycutt right now in between, but it's not going to be long, I don't think.
Not going to be too long. He's mentioned before, DJ Honeycutt on the move as he is right, or Stephen Hayes tucked right behind DJ Honeycutt. That gap still coming down, and I want to get the lap time comparisons between Hayes and well, the two Hayeses when Stephen Hayes gets by DJ Honeycutt. Here down onto this stretch down to the turn one. Will he make the move down to the outer corner? He does not. He stays behind. So Stephen Hayes trying to see if I think he can save a bit of fuel behind the number 8, or the number 15, excuse me.
I guess he thinks it's better to work with than fight. I guess they're. I mean, think of it this way: it's lap 47 to 75. We're about to be on lap 48. This race is going to be over before we know it.
Oh, there he goes. He just had to find a way to get to the outside first to secure that move.
Yeah, not sure if anyone could hear that, but Tyler Honeycutt said about Justin LeBlanc, this is going to get fun. Can people hear?
Not anymore. They can't.
And we're all thankful for that.
It was so the issues have been resolved. I appreciate the call out on that one. I was not going to mention it, but
I wasn't calling out. I was alluding to. You made it into a bigger deal.
Tyler Honeycutt gets around Joey Beck, and LeBlanc goes with him. So Beck falls to 7th as LeBlanc and Honeycutt often work together on that one to push their way up towards the top 5.
Goodness, I love that number 3 car. Tyler Honeycutt is really racing a nice car. I don't know, black and red, it just works together, and he's got that chrome finish to the number 3. Look at that, right as they go by.
You're not being influenced by stock logos to say that, are you?
I'm not, but I did just get a video game from there the other day. So,
Slightly biased.
yeah, a little expensive for the games, I won't lie.
I got one GameStop that's within an hour and a half of my place.
Wasn't it EB Games?
It was EB Games.
Did they get rid of EB Games?
They did. They
What?
rebanded. Oh, hello, Jonathan Eason down to pit road. He could not make it to the end. That doesn't bode well for Joey Beck or Chad Rowe, who are on a similar strategy.
I just never understood it from the get-go. You're going to lose so much time going 2 pit stops.
I wonder
that
if
it's
they
gonna
didn't think they could make it.
You can go around 80 to 85 miles in a full tank of fuel. Do the math there. 40 to 42 laps.
I almost failed math class, so I'm not going to fall for this trap.
I do math a lot during these races, don't I?
You really do. I rely on you for math. Anything that I can't do within 3 seconds on a calculator, I leave to you.
Okay,
Joey
fair
Beck,
enough.
the next driver, down and in for service.
So anyone who pitted before around lap 34, 35, they're going to have to come. Yeah, they're in trouble. They're counting on a yellow here.
We're going to jump up to the race leaders real quick because Stephen Hayes has gotten by DJ Honeycutt for that 2nd position. And want to bring up these deltas between these two drivers. And you can see, but oh my gosh, that's not very helpful. Listen, between Mike Hayes and Stephen Hayes, the gap is closing by about 1/10 here, 3/10 there, couple hundredths right there, 1/4 of a second, the last 2 laps. And take a look over on the far right down to the bottom, 3.1 to 2.3 within the last 5 laps. That gap is shrinking, and it's shrinking at a pretty substantial rate. Stephen Hayes is going to catch Mike before this race is over if he keeps that pace up.
If he keeps that pace up, right? That's the key thing. Is he going to be able to keep that pace up? Well, I don't know. I'm still skeptical here. I think the tires are going to start to fall off and equal out.
Well, with all that said and done, that leaves this as the lone battle on the racetrack at the moment between Tyler Honeycutt and Justin LeBlanc. We've been talking about these guys a lot, but everybody else is essentially in a hot lapping session as it stands with how spread out your field is otherwise with the Auto Club Speedway. But leave it to Tyler and Justin to keep things entertaining for us up here on the race course.
Thanks, guys.
Giving us something to talk about here for sure.
Besides EB Games.
Right. or
I'm really upset. I like the fact that there was EB Games.
It's still the same company, is it not? Did it just rebrand?
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google that now.
Let me be upset, man.
EB Games is in fact the same company as GameStop. It has been confirmed. It's just been
Yes.
rebranded. So
Yes.
you still got your EB games. You can call it that for nostalgia reasons.
You're testing me.
It doesn't have the same ring to it.
Now!
Well, they couldn't really use EA games now, could they? That's got a horrible ring to it. What am I talking about? EC? No. I'm just going to stop. EJ Luna has been closing up on this fight for the last little while. He's down to 0.3 of a second. He was outside of a second about 4 laps prior to this one. So EJ Luna has turned up the wick a little bit in his number 48 car, and he's looking like he wants to party with these groupies and see if he can fight his way up into a top 5. And I'll tell you what, EJ Luna's been having a good showing for his debut race. Top 1 spot.
A lot of fights.
Not too impressive, but he's right with these guys. He could easily go for a 4th place finish when this race is over.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of fighting, which is great to see.
Oh, hello.
Oh, I was just about to say, what if there was a yellow to come out? That would change this completely.
And now Justin LeBlanc can be dropping back. He's got damage on the right front of his Mustang now. You can see him just down there, and that is because he just got up into the outside wall off of turn number 2. He's not the only one. Is right in front of him. You just saw Tyler Honeycutt scrape the outside barrier. So there goes Luna through to P4 with 20 to go.
I am so thrilled that coming from Phoenix and coming from the end of last season with Green Flag TV, broadcasting the last few races, you never know what to expect when you're about to do anything with the series that you really didn't know much about. Especially when there's so few drivers that are in the series. And that's not a knock, right? They mentioned it multiple times. They're trying to build this series out and trying to grow it. And I think with racing like this, between all of these drivers, it's the best possible product you can put on.
This league is the epitome of you don't need a big field of drivers to have a good time. And I don't know if you know this, but there was a league a while ago. I'm not sure if it's still running today, but it was made up of all real drivers, right? They would use fixed setups with stuff like the Pro Mazdas back in the day, and then they moved to the Indy Pro 2000s. That racing, they only ever had like 8 or 9 cars on road courses. And it was still just as phenomenal racing there as what we're seeing here. You can have some fantastic racing. You just need guys that know how to drive together. Like, that's the chemistry. Is we've both seen our share of races that have had giant fields, right, 30, 40 cars, and they've been either snooze fest or just disasters because they don't know how to drive together. It's either a caution fest or nobody wants to make moves. That's not the case here. The racing has been fantastic all night long, and it's continuing to be so.
And it helps us because it keeps us really invested and really into the league and enjoy it and talk to all the drivers in the league and have a good time. I mean, that's really what it's about, right? By the way, Stephen Hayes, he was within 1.2 seconds. Now it's back to 1.5 and a half, so maybe it's stalled.
Maybe a mistake, or we'll see. We'll track this one.
Had to be a mistake.
That's what I'm thinking. We'll pull these deltas up here again. Oh, you can tell. Look at lap 55. 3/10 lost right there. That was all in one lap, and he's been gaining that back ever since. That was a mistake of some sort.
Can't make many mistakes when you're chasing the other Hayes.
No, absolutely not. You saw 2/10 lost the time before. I wonder if he got a bad run off of 4. Maybe he had to lift off to avoid going into the wall or got loose.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The end of his 54th lap.
And you lose a few tenths going down the straightaway. Yeah, I could see that happening.
I find it interesting that, I'm just realizing I'm comparing to the completely wrong driver. I'm comparing Hayes to Honeycutt. Let's check this one here. This will be the right ones. Okay,
that sounds like a song title or an album title. Hayes to Honeycutt.
Okay, I think this paints a better picture. I think you're right. It looks like it is kind of stalling out of it, doesn't it? Look, 10th and a half gained, about 5 laps ago, then a 10th and a half lost, and then it's been a few hundreds gained or lost ever since. So, yeah, I think you're right. Maybe he did stall out.
That's what I thought was going to happen. I mean, the race is not over. You know, there's only, again, a second and a half between them, so something still could happen. But
it's not a 1.3 now.
There you go. So maybe he's coming still back.
I'm going to do something that I don't often do on these oval races. And I'm going to change our timing screens here. We can actually see exactly where everybody's at in relation to everybody else on the racetrack between the next closest drivers for position. You can kind of see just how spread out everybody else is. And Tyler Honeycutt and EJ Luna, those are the two drivers that are the closest ones on the racetrack. You see them highlighted in yellow there, signifying that that gap is under a second. This is typically only used on road course races, but in oval race, where I think it's spread apart, I think this is a good visualizer to show as well. But exactly where things are at is Chad Rowe will hit pit road. I think he's the only one of our other drivers that was on for a two-tire strategy, or two-stop strategy. So he's going to be the last. I think this will be the last. Oh, wow, okay. He's going to be our last scheduled pit stop of the day.
Excuse me while I laugh at that attempt at English. Trust me, I do the same thing sometimes.
I think everybody does.
Word be hard.
See Tyler Honeycutt just at the back of the shop, but even this gap here, it's not closing anymore, is it? I mean, the draft isn't very strong because EJ Luna gets such a good drive off the top sides of 4 and 2. Honeycutt's been keeping it very much further down on the bottom, and that's, I think, what's been costing Tyler Honeycutt big time here. He hasn't been able to use that draft reel in because he's spending the entire straightaway with the draft just to match his speed and then close it in with the corner entry.
I am, you know, kind of.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, boy.
Luna into the wall. Here comes Tyler.
He intimidated him.
He didn't even have to. He wasn't close enough to intimidate him.
The presence was felt. You see that gap still between the haze? The hazes, it's still,
0.5.
it's stalled. It's stalled.
I think a mistake from Mike Hayes could see that gap flip-flop around.
Oh, it totally could, but we're at 12 laps to go, less than that now.
Absolutely. And I think at this point, he would need a mistake, right, to see that gap come down as much as it did. I think Stephen Hayes had the right idea. I think if he wanted to close that gap up, he should have waited a lap later. I'm going to be completely honest. If you want to go for the overcut, you have to make sure that by the time your tires wear off, you have that move done. But
I 100% agree.
That's why I think if he had waited like another lap or two, he might have been able to do that. But I wonder if he didn't have the fuel for it.
They all did. I'm telling you, if they all went around the same time, they'd be fine.
It's a bit of a shame that. I was looking to be a good battle for the lead, but obviously Mike Hayes is not complaining about this one at all. He's going to be smooth sailing. I think he's kind of taking a sigh of relief as things stand up at the front. One driver that hasn't been able to do that, though, EJ Luna, who, for all intents and purposes, still keeping up pace despite riding the wall throughout all of 1 and 2.
Hey, sometimes the air bubble bites back, and sometimes it says, you know what, I'll keep helping you out.
I think that was the air bubbles way. That was his warning. That was the furled black
the
flag.
mulligan.
It was the furled black flag that was like, hey, how about we don't do that anymore? To the inside of Luna is Tyler Honeycutt, trying to track up and out of turn number 2 to the back straightaway. Good run for Tyler Honeycutt, but not good enough. He'll tuck back in line for turn 3, but Luna will not go down to cover. So now Honeycutt fully on the offensive, and he pokes the nose ahead in 4.
This is some good battling between these two drivers. Obviously, Luna, the more raw driver in terms of knowing these drivers and racing with them. So it'll be a bit of a different competition, but he's doing an amazing job at settling in, and well, we'll have to deal with the slider.
And Luna with the crossover back to the inside into turn number 3. Oh, he's not able to get there. Tyler Honeycutt's got him on the top shelf, and that's it. It's over.
Man, yeah, this is dang good racing, though, I'll tell you what.
And all with less than 10 laps to go, Luna pulls up back in front. Or back, back behind Tyler Honeycutt as Tyler Honeycutt rockets away down to turn number 1, the number 3 car. Going to be clear, and I think that's game over for EJ Luna. Luna had the tire advantage early, but he burned all his stuff up trying to stay up in front of him, and now he's struggling just to keep pace. Yes, while we're with these guys, we're checking in on other battles around the racetrack. Dwayne Honeycutt and Mark Sherwood, they're starting to close up a bit more with each other here. You look at the 44 car, way up on the top side. That 27 is Dwayne Honeycutt. This is the fight for 8th up on the racetrack as it stands. So a bit further down the field, but still a fight nonetheless. It's been steadily closing in. It was up to about 2-3 seconds. Now it's down to just 0.4 of a second.
Okay, I dig that. I dig that for sure. Some good racing. By the way, don't count out DJ Honeycutt on Stephen Hayes. He's got the benefit of the draft right now with Joey Beck. So don't count him out.
Are Joey Beck and DJ Honeycutt teammates? I don't think they are. But if they are,
it's within a second.
That would be a strategy call for sure. Although, again, DJ Honeycutt he likes to run that bottom lane, right? And I think that's hurting him right now because he's not able to get the good run that he needs down the straights to be able to make this happen. He's able to use the draft, but he loses that draft as soon as he ducks down and out of these, out of line into the corners. Five laps to go. Steve Hayes continuing to hang on. Dwayne Honeycutt continues to reel in Mark Sherwood down to just 0.2 of a second. Now under that, looking for the inside of the 3 and 4. Not going to lead anywhere. Also got Tyler Honeycutt and EJ Luna. This battle is still yet to be decided as well.
Man, this is some great battle right here. I'll tell you that. This is fun to watch.
Luna trying to track it up and out, and troubles with Dwayne Honeycutt. Spun into the infield grass on the front straightaway. So Dwayne Honeycutt down and out. He's got big damage on the front
end. Will the yellow come out?
No, I don't think it will. He's off the racetrack. There's no reason for it to.
But he's coming on slow.
Coming on slow. No yellow. We will keep this green. Oh, goodness gracious. And almost just wiped out some of the leading pack. We'll look back on what happened. Oh, he got into Mark Sherwood.
How that wasn't a yellow?
And, yeah, just wrecked it down to the inside. That's a really weird wreck for Sherwood and Dwayne Honeycutt. That is Dwayne Honeycutt. I'm going to back that up a bit more and see if we can't pick something together, because that is a strange incident as, oh, right there. Sherwood lost focus. Got up into the wall, and that's what slid him down.
I mean, let's talk about pinball.
Yeah, no kidding. And then, yeah, this one where he comes back up onto the racetrack.
This was insane.
This is where it gets a bit too close for comfort, because you're going to watch this here as the field comes flying up on him. And right about there, I didn't think he realized where the field was, because when he realized he was tracking up across their noses, he tried to floor to the outside wall to get out of their way.
All I got to say, Michael Hayes, count your blessings.
No kidding. That was lucky right there that he didn't get into it.
Stephen Hayes just got into the wall. DJ is coming.
And this is going to be now with 2 laps left to go. So you've got now a bunch of battles on the racetrack that have yet to be decided. You've got Hayes versus Honeycutt. Honeycutt versus Luna. LeBlanc versus Honeycutt. And Honeycutt versus Eason. Every Honeycutt's got a hand to play in this race so far.
Yeah, just a bit, right? Just a bit.
Try saying that 5 times fast.
Honeycutt, Honeycutt, honey.
Okay. That going all right for you there?
No.
Okay. I had faith in you, man, on that one.
Man, it's not math. It's not math.
You got a point. You got a point. White flag up in the air. Mike Hayes is on a charge at the moment as he leads the field down and into turn numbers 1 and 2. It has been flag to flag in the season opener, and Mike Hayes, we were wondering if he'd be able to hang on, but Stephen Hayes wasn't able to reel him in. He'll come now down into turn numbers 3 and 4, and I tell you what, that number 99 car, he's going to be celebrating tonight as he'll come off of the final corner onto the front straightaway. Mike Hayes wins the season opener in Fontana.
I mean, that was the perfect drive, right? Perfect drive. No mistakes. Fault with Steven for a while, and it came out perfectly. DJ definitely lost something there at the end.
Yeah, no kidding. I think another mistake for him, maybe trying to push it too hard, and that's what did him in, as Mike Hayes going to roll down the back straightaway, and what a race it was for one Mike Hayes, who comes home the race winner at the end of the night. And I have to say, I think for him, this race has gone about as good as he could have possibly imagined, and he is going to be, I would hope, a very happy camper at the end of this one. He'll come down the front straightaway, and as he gets set to burn it down, we'll take an official look at your race results after the season opener, after the 75 laps of racing here from Auto Club Speedway. It is Mike Hayes to take the race win for Lone Star Racing. Stephen Hayes will bring it up in second place. Hypershift Motorsports will pick up third and fourth with DJ and Tyler Honeycutt. EJ Luna is back in the fifth position around at the top five. Johnny Honeycutt picks up sixth. Justin LeBlanc will be in seventh with Joy Beck in eighth. Isaac Brock finishing this race laps down along with Joey Beck. Jonathan Eason, Johnny Honeycutt, and Chad Rowe also finished one lap down, with Mark Sherwood the only retirement. And he got up and into the outside wall with only a handful of laps to go on the front straightaway. Again, what a race that we've had here tonight, and I don't think any of these guys could have hoped for anything better, as this was a race to remember. And we'll see if we can't get in touch with some of your podium finishers here tonight after an amazing race at the Auto Club Speedway. We'll see if we can't get a chat here first with one Michael Hayes, and we'll bring the 99 driver on up. Michael, what a race for you. You had a bit of a fight there with Stephen Hayes on your hands, but at the end of the day, he burns his stuff up early, leaving you to coast away with an easy win.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
We got you, buddy.
Hey, yeah, that was a long race, but it was fun. There's a lot of hard battle in there at the beginning. But yeah, it was a good race.
So why don't you walk us through the strategy game in this race, because it really did seem to be a question of what was the strategy call going to end up being, and for a majority of the drivers, it ended up being the one-stopper, and you were among one of those drivers that made it work.
Yeah, I just decided that as soon as I could make it the rest of the way on fuel, I was going to come in and do my stop. But it was lucky, though, because I only had like a lap and a half, 2 laps to the good at the end. But it ended up working out, so that's always good.
You look forward to Chicagoland Speedway. It's another track that has not seen much action in the NASCAR calendar as of late, and I imagine it'll be a track that might take some getting used to once again when we get set to go racing at the 1.5 miles. What's your take here as we get set to swing out eastward?
Yeah, Chicagoland is kind of similar to this track in its own unique way, but like tonight, there should be some pretty good battles, hopefully, and I'm not sure how many laps it is. I don't really remember, but strategy probably will come into play there too. So yeah, I'm always good at 1.5 miles, so I feel confident about going there.
Well, wish you the best of luck there, Michael. Congratulations on the race win tonight for Lone Star Racing. Best of luck when we swing out to the Windy City.
Thank you, guys.
It's Michael Hayes in his number 99 car taking it home in victory lane. We'll move on down to our second place finisher. It is the one that it got away from him. Stephen Hayes joins up at the broadcast booth. Dylan, you're standing by with our runner-up.
Yeah, Stephen Hayes, the runner-up here. Stephen, I got to ask, the overcut. It was a long overcut. I want to hear what your thoughts were on the strategy.
Yeah, so I saw Michael go in, and I was looking at my fuel calculation there and noticed I would have been 2 laps short. if I went in there somehow. So I had to stick it out 2 more laps, unfortunately, which fucking sucked. But once I did finish the race, I looked down and I had 3 extra laps, which really kind of pissed me off. But I mean, it is what it is. Tried my best.
Well, second place. Hey, it's still a good haul of points. Congrats on the second, and we'll see you at the next race. Nolan?
Yep.
Steven, obviously for you, just one more question before we let you go here. Obviously for you, the strategy game came into play. You were trying to go for the overcut there. Do you reckon if you had maybe waited another lap or two, you might have been able to run down Mike Hayes for the lead?
I mean, I don't know. I saw I had 5 seconds to Mike, so I just started pushing. I felt like I had a better car all night, but I just think I pushed too hard there at the end. If I saved a little bit more, I could have had a shot, but he was just so far ahead, I wasn't sure. I just want to get ahead of DJ at that point.
Well, fair enough. We'll wish you the best of luck. We'll let you get down to celebrate with the rest of your team. Congratulations on that second place, and the Lone Star 1-2. We'll see you next week in Chicago.
Thank you, guys.
Stephen Hayes joining us up here at the broadcast booth. We'll move on down to our third and final driver on the podium. It is DJ Honeycutt for Hypershift Motorsports, bringing it home in that third position. DJ, you had yourselves a fair bit of a fight. You were really running down Stephen Hayes in the closing laps.
Yeah, I had tried to save a little bit because I knew he was pushing real hard after we cycled through that last pit stop, and I was hoping to use Joey there as for some draft help, but I never could really suck up to him like I would like to. But we definitely closed up there, and I screwed the entry up on one of the corners and slipped the exit, and that was all she wrote on that one. But I was pushing to try to get him there. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a great race. You know, we usually run pretty clean and green most of the time. Dwayne about took us all out there. That was crazy. I don't know if y'all saw that. And then surprised that wasn't a caution. But otherwise, I mean, it was a great race. Me and Steve and Mike, we really just gapped everybody. Both of those runs, just really maintaining well. I wish I could have had a better starting spot to be able to get a little closer on them to them on that start. But I still feel like I did pretty well. Those guys are always real good at the big tracks, and I've learned a lot from them just racing with them for so long.
Obviously, you finished the third place and the flag bearer tonight then for Hypershift Motorsports. Do you reckon you'll be able to give Justin LeBlanc a run for the title here by the end of the season?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope to not make as many mistakes as I did last season to let them catch up to me those last few races. But you know, every league I just tell everybody consistency is the key to winning these championships. And I try to just top 5 at every race as much as possible, just putting in the work every week to just try to at least get a top 5 finish. But you know, we got some good guys in here. We don't have that many, but we're all pretty good, and we all challenge each other to do good. So I'm glad that we have the races that we do have.
Of course, next week at Chicagoland Speedway, it's another track that it drives in some sense like Auto Club, but in some senses not at all. Do you reckon the strategy game will differ much from what we've seen tonight in California?
No, I'll probably be the same. Honestly, you probably see Mike and Steven up front. Like I said, they're really good at the big tracks, and usually I'm trailing behind them. Uh, so maybe we can at least copy this next week. It's a little bit shorter of a track, but it's a difficult track. It's still real wide, and you can run a lot of different lanes. And I expect we won't have many cautions just like tonight. Really, just try to. I feel like if I could have hit it a lap before Mike, I might have had a little something. But man, those guys are just too quick most of the time. So who knows?
And thank you for taking the time to join us up here in the broadcast booth, DJ. Best of luck next week, and hopefully you'll be able to do 1 or even 2 better when we go down to Chicagoland Speedway.
Yeah, hopefully too. But thanks, guys. We appreciate y'all, and have a good night.
That was DJ Honeycutt joining us up here in the broadcast booth, and going to give our quick apologies as well for the slightly colorful language on behalf of Stephen Hayes at the end of that one, as that brings our broadcast to a close at the end of this one. I have to say, that was a great way to start off the season, wasn't it? I mean, you had everything. You had exciting racing. You had a lot of close passes. You had the strategy game. And we even saw one spill at the end, even if it didn't give the caution that I think some drivers like DJ Honeycutt might have hoped for. But we look forward to next week, right? Chicagoland Speedway. It's a track that, like I mentioned, in some senses is very similar, but it's also incredibly different. What do you think we can expect to see when we go eastward?
Well, I think it's going to be a track that not really any of these drivers are used to. It just hasn't been run on the service in a lot of official races. Don't quote me on that, but I don't think it has been run on a lot of official races. That's going to lead to a lot of not knowing what the track can do, what the car is capable of. I'm excited. There's going to be a lot of question marks to be answered, and we're going to start to see some championship contenders take shape there.
And on that note, it's about time for us to bring this broadcast to a close as well. It has been a phenomenal race for everybody out here tonight, and I have to say thank you once again to everybody that stuck around and joined us here on what's been an amazing Thursday night of racing action. You can tune in on Saturday when we go racing for the Dukes of Hazzards 100 over at the TNGD IL Truck Series at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and of course, make sure to check in on Tuesday night as well, where the OMSRO Xfinity Series will return at the Darlington Speedway with just 3 races left in their playoff season. For now, though, from Auto Club, it is farewell. My name is Manolo Rempel with Dylan Coyle beside me in the broadcast booth. Thank you for joining us once again on Green Flag TV for the OTSS Xfinity Series season opener. We'll see you all in the next one.